Well, good evening, everybody. How you doing? What you got going on? That's right. You know what it is? It's 7 p.m. East Coast time. It's Wednesday. Issues of Men time. Where y'all at? If this is your first time joining me, this is Miss B, Positively Miss B. I am the CEO, can you believe it, of Storm Talk 365 Radio, faith-based podcast network. Global coverage where myself and the other podcasters help you talk to the storms in your life. I'm also the CEO of our companion station, which is Storm Radio 24/7, where we talk about the arts, entertainment, finances, and much, much more. But tonight we are on Storm Talk 365. We are talking about issues of men with author Chris Allen. Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you. And again, definitely thank you for having me this evening. And again, it's a blessing, it's a pleasure. And before we begin any of the shows, I just want to read you all this disclaimer. All right. So I don't have no problem, have no issues and no problems.
Oh, you don't want to be a Steve Harvey, man. Steve Harvey telling folks how to handle men. Who is he to be that?
Absolutely. Like, no, you don't speak for me.
There you go.
So my disclaimer this evening: some of you may agree or disagree with the views expressed during this discussion. But please keep in mind that this is solely from my experience, observation, and perspective, and you are entitled to your own. And this evening, we're going to get into, it may run into a little bit more. I just said the top 7 misnomers that men and women struggle with in relationships. And we just going to jump into it. It's probably going to be like 8 or 9. So there's some that we're going to go through rather quickly and some we're going to spend some time on this evening. Let's get into what is a misnomer. Ms. B, in your opinion, what is a misnomer in your opinion?
I don't know. I forgot to look it up. In other words, misconceptions, false beliefs. I don't know. I forgot to look the word up. I'm sorry.
But, I mean, everything that you said is definitely on track. It definitely bullet points to that. But in my opinion, just talking about a misnomer is it's a wrong name or a term that is designated or believed to be true, but it's not true. It's an inaccurate belief or inaccurate reflection on something. And we do have a lot of them going on in relationships. So the first one that I want to talk about this evening is a big one. When men take women to meet their family and friends. Now, if a man was taking you, Miss B, when you met your husband, and how did you feel when he was? how did you feel when he was taking around his friends and his family? You felt special, right? And you felt like you was the one.
I'm sorry. My relationship it was a little complicated, but let me tell you, I'm not going to get the details, but the things that he did and the people that he eventually exposed me to, oh yeah, I felt special. Let me just tell you, my husband, and this is very important, men and women, listen to this, because you may be like, I don't want to do that. So let me tell you how come I knew I was special to this man. He was a referee, and he had his own league, and he had concession stands. Mm-hmm. And so that was his life, referees and everything. So let me tell you when I knew I kind of touched him a little bit, because he started allowing me to run his concession stands at the games. Ooh. And he started letting me talk to the referees as far as making appointments for them to go to games. And I was like, all right. And I was meeting all of his friends and his associates. You see what I'm saying? But we didn't go on dates and none of that. But I said, wait a minute. Don't miss this now. So women and men, let me just give you this advice. It's not about going to the mama's house, to uncle's house, to the cookouts. It ain't about all of that. If there's something that's really important to him and he includes you, it may be that family relationship ain't where he wants you to be. It may be she doesn't want you to be around her girlfriends, but she'll take you to her Mary Kay party. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The things that are important to people, they will share with people who are important to them. I don't know if that's what you wanted from me.
Oh, absolutely. That was what you said was great because it gave a breakdown of him trusting you and involving you in the things that he felt was important or what was important to him and involved you in it. Now, in your experience, that meant something. But in many experiences, what I want our men to get, and I want the women who are watching this platform to also get, is that, um, fellas, most women interpret um, they interpret that as being special, that she is the one, and she's found her man. But this is a misnomer because this is not always true. Sometimes what happens is that she may communicate well, she may fit better in job functions, going to job events. She may um, just be that person that that he enjoys really spending time with. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're the only one that he's spending time with.
I wasn't. Let me just tell you, I wasn't. He had somebody for this, he had somebody for that. No, this was a gradual progression to me being a wife. Let me just say, feeling important and being the one is two different things.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's not get it twisted.
It's very different,
Yeah.
and I just don't want the ladies to go around and continue to think that because he's inviting you in and doing these things that you are you're one. You are special to some degree, but you may not be the only one in that circle of events as
Relationship.
far as being being around family and friends and important things. So um, fellas, my suggestion is don't allow the ladies to assume, communicate, tell her where she stands so
Oh,
that
he
she can make
knows.
tell her where she's staying, because again, that won't she won't get upset later from having this assumption and it wasn't what she thought it was, because listen, you will have some problems, I promise you,
Oh,
if
look,
you haven't already experienced it yet.
he never stopped calling. At the time, I was divorced, and so my name was Miss Samuel, and he would always call me Miss Samuel. He would introduce me as Miss Samuel, and I knew there were other people there. So, but still, the fact that I was involved in something that special, but I knew I was not the only one, and then he had different women for different things. But
Hmm.
I always rose to the occasion whenever he needed me. So it could be the best friend he ever had. It could be, so accept it for what it is. Don't create a situation that's not there.
But definitely that he does have an interest. He does enjoy your time. You may be a trophy or arm piece, and then you may be just the perfect fit for specific scenarios and events, as we stated. But he will definitely let you know if you're the one. Don't assume it. The second thing that I wanted to tie into this is spending a lot of time together. That's another misnomer that we, men and women, both get twisted to get backwards sometimes. Again, you may not be the only one. It doesn't mean that you're monogamous. Doesn't mean that you're the only person in it that he's having a relationship or relations with. And I'm just saying, communication is best at this point. Um, Set some boundaries and just take your time in choosing um, who you want to spend time with and not spend your time with. Now, this third one also comes with dealing with relationships is when this is just a presumption that when men and women first get together, or they decide to have sex, or they decide to do whatever they're going to do, whether it's too soon or it happens quickly, um, that it's going to equate into being in a relationship with that person, like they're monogamous, they're strictly mine, it's strictly yours. And I was like, definitely don't assume that. And this is another misnomer that I've experienced, um, thinking that I'm sharing them, sharing something special with somebody, and it was something for them to do. It was an experience, but it wasn't what I thought that it was. I thought that it was more. And again, I guess your background and where you come from, what you were taught growing up. You would, when certain things take place, you would think that this is what this is, but doesn't always go that way. So I had to learn, and as I got older, I had to communicate and let the woman know that if you do decide to do this or whatever that is, that this is not, we're not in a relationship. We're friends with benefits. I just say this: continue to communicate and let them know, and let them decide on what they want to do. Um, Another one that I've come across, Ms. B, and I don't know if you've had this experience, is just because you gave somebody your telephone number, it doesn't mean that we're together. It means that we're talking. When I say that we're talking, that means that uh, we're getting to know one another. We're attracted to each other. We have the intentions of dating or reaching a point, where we have a romantic interest in one another and taking the natural order of things. But it doesn't mean that we're in a, I'm strictly going to be talking to you alone. I'm not going to give up all my, uh, I'm trying to say this without being politically wrong. It was like, it doesn't mean that I cannot date or communicate with other females outside of you because you have my telephone number, because we are getting to know one another. But many people take it as if, when you get someone's phone number, you have that interest, that I just want to let them know, save yourself the disappointment of trying to mark your territory for something that doesn't really belong to you. If that makes sense. Because it happens a lot. It happens all the time.
It does.
And it's just one of those things that I really believe in this thing, just take your time with it, and just don't assume. Always ask questions. That's just the best thing.
You know, I'm liking the direction that you're taking this. We're right into 12 minutes into it, but I like the direction you're taking this because communication is key. And that's why both male and female come up with the term, stop playing games. Why are you playing games? Why are you playing me? Why are you playing me? And then when, yeah, why are you playing me, boo? What's up with that? So the first thing is it could be that your assumptions were out of order. And the second thing could be that silence made those assumptions even more powerful. So open
Mm,
your mouth. You know what your intentions are. You know if you just want a booty call. You know if you just want somebody to hang out with because you're lonely, but you don't want a commitment. Get it out up front. And
mm-hmm.
then if somebody tell you something, believe it. Don't I hear what he's saying, but I know he needs me. I know he like this. And same thing. I know what she's saying, but I'm all of that. I know I'm making it happen. So I ain't worried about it. No, if people tell you how they feel, accept it and not and keep
Accept it
moving. You know what I'm
and
saying?
keep it moving. It's okay. It ain't the end of the world. Um, and Patricia says, she said, definitely, she said, thank me for transparency and information. It's good stuff. But it makes sense to use common sense, and communication is the key. Um, and many of us have issues doing it, or even just having a general conversation about anything is, you know, we're way off base with it sometimes, or um, instead of using your experience, presenting information that they heard from somebody else, you know, um, I just don't see any purpose in that. When it's not your experience, it's not coming from you genuinely. Um, so let's jump into this next one. Now, ladies, please, don't get mad at me, but I have to share this with y'all. This misnomer of giving your opinion or advice when nobody asked you. I'm going to share this short story really quick, and I think you'll probably understand what I mean and what I'm talking about. and I think men also do it a lot less of it. I had met a young lady one time, and I had just moved into my apartment. I probably maybe been there less than 30 days. I wasn't finished putting up everything yet. It was like a really busy time, and the first time she came to my apartment, oh, this looked like a man cave. Oh, and she already started redecorating, saying that this needs a woman's touch, and blah 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 blah. I'm just like, where did this come from? Like, I didn't ask you. I did not ask you for any decorating tips. We didn't have a contract for you to come in here to rearrange and change it. We don't even know if we just met. So I was like, you don't know me. It wasn't out of concern or care because we haven't even gotten that far yet. To me, it was just taking a position of them being controlling, or it was rude. So I was like, how do you feel about that, Miss B?
I just said it's rude. Listen, now I'm coming from a 64-year-old woman's point of view. Been there, done that. Let me just say this. And I've had friends like that. So listen, women, and listen, men. From a man's standpoint, let me tell you, if you just met somebody and you just casually invited them over, and they obviously could see that you just moved in, when she started in on that, she's already found a place for her toothbrush and her drawers.
Absolutely.
Don't bring her back. Okay? Second thing is, women, when you go to somebody's house, apartment, car, trailer, whatever, you are a guest that has no guarantee that you will return. How you handle that first visit will determine if you have other visits. Shut your mouth,
Facts.
sit down, be a guest, be waited on, don't wander around, don't nobody care about your opinion. As a matter of fact, what your house look like? And number two, he don't need your touch. It's his apartment. Shut
Absolutely.
up. What you claiming? I see. I'm gonna stop because it's your show. I just thought I'd.
And that was a perfect ending, a perfect segue to that. Because my next one that I wanted to speak about this evening is people having this misnomer of leaving items or articles of clothing at someone else's home to
Stop.
gain access or surprise visits. Like, listen, those articles of clothes.
What happened? Stop.
Those things. It's not a key pass. It's not a key, or it doesn't say, "Please come in, gain entry." No,
Oh, no.
come on in the gate.
Can I say? Ooh, 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 ooh. Can I? I know it ain't my turn yet, but you got me all worked up in here like this. The girl done already marked her territory. You may have other women coming up in here, but they're gonna see I've been here too. So after a while, you gonna have 3 toothbrushes. What the hell is it? Excuse me. What's going on? I ain't know I was collecting toothbrushes. Wait a minute. How these underwear get in my drawer? Wait a minute. Why my house smell like her perfume? She done sprayed everything like a cat.
And I mean,
yeah,
it's the truth.
I'm real.
It doesn't. First and foremost, it doesn't mean that you get your articles back. It doesn't mean that the person will let you come in to even get the articles. As far as surprise visits, you know what they say about that? They say seek and you shall find.
Oh yeah, I saw it and I found.
Or not.
No, I found.
You might not find nothing at all, but
I found.
And Patricia's in the chat box, and she said it's a learned behavior. She said she was rude and out of order. She said women are natural nesters, but unless you are asked, don't suggest or do it. And again, yeah, it's childish. It's a childish behavior. It is marking your territory. Absolutely. Um, Perfume, bras, panties, pantyhose, shirts,
Eyelash,
blouses,
lipstick,
eyeliner.
somewhere where somebody be like, oh, who is this?
Hmm.
And then you don't need to explain to the second person about the first person because the first person is not significant anyway. So now you got two insignificant folks trying to find out who each other is because the first person was trying to make it seem like she all of that when she just barely got her foot in the door. I'm
Absolutely. That's something. So that's just something that I think as men and women, we definitely have to work on that. Not unless they tell you to bring something when you come and you can keep it here, don't do it. Um, Now, this is a very important misnomer that after a breakup occurs, that the other person shouldn't be dating, or they have to be, not dating after a period of time. Like they should be sad, they should be brokenhearted and crying over you, and they shouldn't be dating this soon. And um, what is your take on that? Because I know there's a lot of people who feel like, well, we just broke up and it's been a week or 2 weeks, and he or she is already dating, or um, they have an interest in someone else. Everybody goes through the process differently, but I just don't believe that there should be. When you're done, you're done. You're not in a relationship with that person anymore, and I wouldn't. I don't necessarily care about what somebody else is doing. I have to maintain to take care of me. You know, but again, when you have people that hang around, or they're still wanting to be a part of your life, causing stress and strife and whatever that is, and we should be working on getting back together, and it's done. Like, um, and Miss B, the truth of it is, ladies and fellas know that I'm telling the truth, is that men get over loss by engaging in another or seeing another. We don't normally take enough time in between to go through our hurt, go through our pain, go through the things that we should, to have our bodies to detox from the other person, get that person's energy, and um, make sure that connection is broken before you bring somebody else into the fray. Um, I just don't believe that there's no length of time that someone should start dating or seeing other people. But I know specifically just for men, I can't speak for the women, so I would like you or the viewers to chime in the chat box and just give your thoughts and your take on that as well.
well, I can say there's two sides to every story and sometimes a third. So this is for both females and males. I like what you said. Everybody heals differently and handles things differently. The second thing, I like the way you use the word detox. So many people move into relationships out of spite for the wrong reason, and they still have leftover emotions. And then that relationship is impacted by how you were in the relationships prior to that. I believe there should be some time to, like you said, detox if you can do that,
Mm-hmm.
because it will spill over to your future relationships. Um,
Absolutely.
the third thing I want to say is when people say, I think we should be trying to work things out, there's a good possibility the person who initiated the breakup may already have moved on before they even told you to kick rocks, because people are not going to just limit themselves if they feel abused. They're just waiting for the right time, and it's the, well, if it don't work out, I got to stand by. If it does, I'll cut this loose. And then if you keep acting a fool, then they're going to focus on the new stuff. So this is for males or females. And I just think I agree with you. There should be no time limit on when you should or should not date after a breakup, but make sure after the breakup that you're not taking excess baggage, negative emotions, resentment. rebound type thing, and then you realize I don't want to be with this person. I was doing it because I was hurt, and then now that person that you moved on to is hurting, and then the person you left is hurting. It's just a mess. So just take time to figure things out before you move on, but don't put it on a time schedule based on what the other person thinks, what sister, uncle, aunt think. You got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. And I said you mentioned something that caught my attention as well. Is you had mentioned that in my experience and people that I know, even when they have that breakup or they're out of the relationship, there's always been somebody in or around um, that you may have been in close contact with, or someone that you had a close relationship with. That, let's say if someone, let's say if someone's mate passed away, or they just got out of a divorce, or it could be they could have been in a relationship for 2 years, and out of that relationship, you hear that that person has jumped in or they're into another relationship. Um, and again, for most men, and in my experience, I just say for most men, but I do see that women also do the same. So in that aspect of it, not wanting to be alone, or someone just to take your attention off of whatever it is that you're going through in this breakup. But that's definitely how we heal. That's how we move forward. Um, but again, I just always suggest, as you did, just take time before you jump in or get back into another relationship. Patricia says, she says it's different for different individuals. Personally, she said, I've experienced long-term relationships. I usually waited as long as 6 months to process. I believe if you do not process and deal with the loss of relationship, you will cause hurt and injury. And that is an absolute fact. Especially, it doesn't necessarily have to be a messy breakup, but most leading to most breakups, it's been some type of situation. It's been building up over a course of time. And so a lot of times it's not a surprise when it happens, but it's a lot of things that you're carrying into the next relationship or friendship that you get into. Um, and again, I would just say this is another perfect segue into it. The misnomer of, and before I ever talk about the misnomer, Miss B, finances are a very familiar and a high percentage cause of breakups. So when we talk about um, finances, my money is my money, or a lot of time women was like, my money is my money, and your money is my money. But most men are like, my money is my money, your money is your money. And I'm just saying, if you're in a long-term relationship and you're going to be together, you definitely got to come out of all that. You have to do what's best for your household. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. If you're still into okay, and some, I have to say this is for men and women. First scenario, if what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine, then y'all not in a relationship.
Right.
The second thing is, regardless of who's initiating it, what's mine is mine, what yours is mine. You're still not in a relationship. You're dependent on somebody to be your sugar mama, sugar daddy. You want what you can get from them, not what you can give to them.
Convenience.
You see what I'm saying? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, no problem. There's no emotional attachment. It's what can you do for me? What are you bringing to the table? Ladies, gentlemen, men, women, sister, girl, bro, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you both are still saying what's yours is yours and what's theirs is theirs, you're not committed. If you're in a relationship and you're saying what's mine is mine, but what's theirs is mine too, you're not in a relationship until
And
you can come together and say, we are in this together. Baby, you got
mm-hmm.
$10. Can you pay this bill and I pay it the next time? Oh, you ain't got no money. So let me just say this. and this is from personal experience, and it's very important. There are two things you don't want to start messing with if you're not committed. That's sex and money, because both of them will get you caught up emotionally and create a situation where it's going to be hard to separate. Don't mix up money if you ain't ready, and don't mix up in the bed if you ain't ready. I know you said, but casual sex is drama. Friends with benefits is dangerous. And I know people got to do what they got to do, and it ain't about sin and all of that. But when you start mixing bed and bread,
Don't I know it?
you see what I'm saying? When you start mixing bed and bread, you got trouble. So all I'm saying
I
is,
like that.
y'all got to be careful with that mess. Then you give it. But I thought, and please, sweethearts, when y'all start paying each other bills and nothing is coming back, in other words, the man is always, I'm late on my car payment. Can you help me with my groceries? And then she ain't bringing nothing to the table. The same thing with the dude. Little mama, look, I'm a little short. Can you help me with this? This bill came up, child support here. Wait a minute, hold up. That's the red flag. If you broke going into whatever it is, you can be broke in it, and then you both of y'all can be broke trying to get out of it. Be careful.
Absolutely.
Don't enable these people. Don't enable it because you like what they look like, how they smell, and what's going on in the bedroom. I'm serious.
It is true.
I'm gonna give you an example. Then I'm done. We had an upstairs neighbor. They fought every day. I mean, boom, 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 boom. 10, 11 o'clock at night. Wait a minute. Y'all just got through cussing each other out, throwing furniture, and now I hear the mattress squeaking. Get out of here. Get out. Y'all need to consider, and that's the kind of stuff that's hard to break up because you got those spiritual transferences. You think you just gotta have them, but y'all not getting along. And then you got the money. Then whose name on this lease and whose name on that car payment, and we got shared credit cards and all that foolishness, and y'all ain't even compatible. I'm sorry, I'm.
No, but that it's the absolute truth. Shameless plug. In my book, I just talk about how a person uses money, they use gifts, they use sex, anything to bring appeasement to the situation, but they don't necessarily work on the issue that you were having in the first place. They want to hush it up and push it under the rug. They want to brush it away, but it's not going nowhere. You have to solve and take care of that issue of why you were fighting in the first place. Sit down and come up with some solutions or come to a compromise on something. Other than that, you're gonna have a miserable existence living with each other. Miserable.
And that's true. All right. How many, where we at? It's 7:33. What we got?
This last one, I'm not necessarily, I don't even want to get into that today, but I think that'll be another whole topic on its own.
At least tell us what it is and say we.
I'm definitely telling
you. I'm nosy.
When you're in a relationship, whether you've been in a relationship for a while, it could be your fiance, and you could be married. But assuming that you can discipline children that are not yours because you're in a relationship and you live together is a misnomer that people need to definitely have a conversation and talk about that. Not just with the person you're in a relationship with, but you need to have a talk with the children's father too. And this is this is the issue that we definitely probably need to talk about on a whole other issue.
That's good, because you can add some more stuff up under that one right there.
Absolutely.
All right, so I look forward to that topic. Keep going.
And I definitely just wanted to say this evening, just to conclude with final thoughts, is that uh, men and women need to stay away from misnomers as much as possible. All the cliches and even things I might not even came up with to talk about this evening. Um, Again, stay true to yourself. Um, Stop with the societal norms. Um, and just communicate. Communication, communication, communication. Um, just because the communication aspect of it is, I think, the most important thing that we all could do. And, just speaking and talking about it doesn't necessarily mean that um, it's a bad thing, but it's just something that we need to do. We need to get better at it as we move forward. Did you have any final thoughts for this evening, Ms. B?
Um, no, I'm. You just got me captivated. I'm just so blessed to have you on Storm Talk 365, talking about relationships in general because they're applicable across the board. And I really appreciate the topics and the information. So tell them about your book. That's my final thought. I called you author because I wanted them to know that you are an author. So tell them about your book and how they can get it.
Um, you can, again, my book, Open Wounds, is, I call it stoetry. It's about 80% poetry, and it has short story with poetry intermingled in between. But it's just a story about my life and how those stories have impacted me, and how they definitely can make an impact on our youth and as our adults to get better, start thinking better, start not reacting, responding towards situations. And once you know better, you do better. Um, and not stay in that victim mode of life. Because when you walk around in that victim perception, life is terrible.
Absolutely.
So that's primarily what the book is about. Just coming out of that, and you can go to my Instagram page, my Twitter, my Facebook account, and they're all author Christopher Allen. Um, and you can click on my website link there, and it'll take you directly there, and you can purchase the book through using PayPal. You can also email me at Ascension Publishing LLC at gmail.com, and request if you would like to purchase either or both Open Wounds editions, the adult or youth edition, or you can go to, you can also order the guidebook that goes along with it as well. And you can cash at me at $ Ascension Services. It's $12 for the book and $2.85 for shipping and handling. And then again, if I'm in the area and you're, within the Virginia area, I don't have any problem dropping the book off. So that's how I do. That's that extra customer service element that I give. But definitely, you can cash app at Ascension Services, and definitely the book will be on its way.
Um, the reason why I definitely wanted to talk about being an author, because starting next month and you'll get more details, we'll work it out. Chris is coming to Storm Radio 24/7. I'm going to be doing an interview with him to talk about his poetry and other writings on the author's interview. But also, once a month, Chris is going to be doing How to Be an Author 101. He's going to be talking to you 15 minutes or so about how to write your own book and giving you different tips on that. So look for him on our sister station, which is Storm Radio 24/7, starting next month with Author 101, How to Become an Author 101. And also, prior to that, I will be doing an interview with him where we'll be specifically talking about his writings, the workbook, and what he hopes that you will get from them. So look him up. All of his information is on his page under About section, Christopher Allen on Facebook, and his Instagram, Issues of Men, is right scrolling across there. So, Chris, no, I'm just so excited about all that we're getting ready to do together. And thank you for bringing such awesome topics to the platform. So I look forward to next week. Do you have the topic ready for next week?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Next week topic is why do we stay in toxic relationships?
Oh, Lord, child. You know, I did something on that, but keep going. I'm with you.
Yeah, so we definitely going to dig into that. Why do we stay in toxic relationships next week? Right here, 7 p.m.
All right. He can also be found on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, many more. Just Google, just search Issues of Men, um, Storm Talk 365, or Conversations with Miss B. But he is on his own platform. You can find him on Issues of Men as a podcast. So if you don't want to sit down and listen to a video, look at a video, his podcast is available for on-demand listening and download. So that being able to say it, everybody, this is Miss B, Positively Miss B, with Chris Allen. Issues of Men every Wednesday, 7 p.m. East Coast time. We pray that we've done or said something to inspire you to become the best person you can be in the relationship that you deserve. All right, Chris, thank you so much. Have a blessed night.
You too. Thank you. Everybody have a good night. See you next week.